had a bit of a crisis with my phone, so it's now out of order for a foreseeable amount of time. I will probably have a rant at some point about what's happened today if I'm still feeling this annoyed at, you know, whenever I get round to it. No further forward with getting my phone fixed, and I'm really stressed and aggravated, and I'm late for the show. I could film a whole big intro about what this video is about, but you've read the title, you've just seen the vlog clips, so I'm just going to say this is the story of why I was so stressed in those vlog clips, why it took me a while to get my phone working again, and why I now think this is a really hilarious story that's worthy of telling on YouTube, so I hope you enjoy. For those of you who haven't seen my London vlog, I'll just give you a little bit of background on what was going on. Me and my friend Liam were in London to see Taylor Swift at Wembley, and we'd had a great night on the Friday. We were going to see the show again on the Saturday. We were also going to the Harry Potter tour on Saturday afternoon, and then on Sunday we were due to travel back home. On Saturday morning I woke up at around about 8 o'clock and I was checking my social media. Now, what I was checking for on social media in particular was that this girl had came up to me on Friday at one of the shows, and she'd seemed really happy to see me. She hugged me, we were happy dancing, and she was really excited that she was meeting Taylor. And I don't know whether that was all of the excitement or whether I actually know her. I still don't know, as I'm recording this, whether I actually know this girl or whether it was just her wanting me to be part of her excitement. But anyways, I was on Twitter and somebody said this girl has been picked to meet Taylor. So I clicked on the link and then my phone froze, and then it kind of turned itself off and it turned itself back on again, and then asked me to put in my password for like the phone security or something. I can't remember exactly what the message said, but basically it wanted me to put in my password just to verify that I was the owner or something. I can't really remember. So I put in my password, and whether I put in my password wrong or whether the phone didn't recognise my correct password, I'm not sure. But then it said that my password was wrong. I'd used up my one chance to get back into my phone, and then it turned itself off and started doing a factory reset. All my texts, all my photos, videos, all the apps I had, even things I'd saved on like the internet browser and things, everything was being wiped off my phone. This factory reset was taking a little while to happen. I was kind of like to Liam, this doesn't look good. My phone's saying erasing on it, and this is a screen you don't usually see. It had like a little picture of the Android robot and things. It wasn't looking good, but we really needed to get out soon to get to the Harry Potter studio tour on time. So I was like, I'm gonna hop in the shower and panic about this once my phone turns itself back on again. I go into the shower, I'm washing my hair, I'm freaking out a little bit, also because I've made the water way too hot, so this shower was not enjoyable at all. But all the while I was thinking, this is gonna be fixable. You're gonna come out the shower, your phone will be ready to turn back on again. Everything is gonna be okay. Everything is fine. You didn't do anything to kind of start this off, so surely everything's going to be okay. I came out the shower and my phone is ready for me to try turning it on again. So I turn it on and it says something like, we've just had to perform a factory reset. Just to confirm that you're the same owner of the phone, can you please log into your Google account? Now, usually for most people that's just log in with your email and password, but I actually have additional security on my Google account to try and prevent hackers and things, just to try and keep an extra layer of security there. So I needed to also generate a code. The two ways that I usually generate a code is to either receive one by text or use the app. Both of those required my phone. I kind of go back and forth with my phone a little while. I try logging into another Google account I have. It wasn't really taking the details. I was just really trying to think of everything. I had Liam trying to download the app to authenticate my device, and it was asking for additional information that I just didn't know, and I didn't really know where to go from there. So now I had a phone that I could turn on, but I couldn't really do anything else with. My phone does a lot of things, as do most phones nowadays. I use it as an alarm clock, I use it to play music, I use it to check my emails and my social media accounts and things. But all of that didn't really matter to me when this whole thing was going on. What bothered me the most about my phone not working is that I didn't have a telephone number. The whole thought of being alone in this city far away from home and not having a basic way of contacting people was a little bit scary to me. At that point in the day, I didn't really have any more time to obsess about the fact my phone wasn't working. We needed to get out, we needed to go to the Harry Potter studios, and luckily I remembered just before we were leaving that I needed the confirmation number in order to pick up our tickets. So I was able to log in via one of Liam's devices into my email account to get the confirmation number, and I wrote it on my hand because I didn't really have anywhere else to write it. I had taken a screenshot on my phone the day before, but my phone wasn't wanting to play games with me and things. So yeah, I just had like a load of random notes scrawled on my hands of things I needed to know. And that's basically how I got through the day. I'm going to flash forward several hours later into this story now, because we went to the Harry Potter studio tour and not much really happened with my phone during this time. When we got back to the hotel, it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I really felt like I needed to try and get my phone fixed. I felt like it was something that needed to be a priority. And I thought that if I quickly nipped out to Oxford Street, went to see my phone shop, then I would be able to come back, have plenty of time to get ready for the concert, and then I joined Liam at Wembley nearer the time to the show. Liam had given me some instructions on where to find my phone provider on Oxford Street. I was walking along Oxford Street and I couldn't see their store anywhere. It was really, really difficult to see. So I kept walking, and eventually I came to a little cluster of shops that were phone shops of other providers. So I went into one and I said, "This is really, really cheeky of me. I do apologise in advance. Is there any way you can tell me where my phone shop is?" So the girl was really, really sympathetic. She totally understood why I was so stressed and things and why it was such a priority to me. And she looked it up on Google herself and told me exactly where I needed to go. My phone shop was where Liam had said it was, I just hadn't seen it. And I pop into there, and again I say to them, "I'd really like your help with something. It will only take a couple of minutes. You'd really help me out. Basically my phone is locked and I just need to get my SIM card out, and if there's another phone that I can use in this shop anywhere for just a couple of minutes to receive a text, that would be really awesome, and then that will get my phone fixed." The guy pulled out the little gadget that he needs to open up the phone. He got my SIM card out, but then he told me that they didn't have any phones anywhere in the store that I could use for a couple of minutes to receive a text. I wasn't even asking to send one. I wasn't even asking to like make a phone call or anything. I had my own SIM cards that I could put in, but he was like, "No, we don't have any phones." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, is there like a cheap handset I can buy?" Because again, I was thinking if I can just get my SIM card into a phone that works, then I can at least have a phone number. That's all I wanted at this point. And then he said there were no cheap handsets for sale. And I was like so flustered and stressed by this whole interaction that I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you, bye." And he just told me to go along the road to the Carphone Warehouse. And if you're not in the UK, basically the Carphone Warehouse does phones of like different brands and things. It isn't just one network, it's like all kinds of networks. But he didn't really tell me where the Carphone Warehouse was, and he obviously understood my problem. He understood that I didn't have any way to contact anybody. It's just like he didn't give me the time of day as soon as he realised he wasn't going to make any money off of me. I was really flustered in that moment. I was embarrassed. But now, looking back at it, I'm embarrassed for them. I can't believe my phone shop told me that there were no phones. Like, why? what, like, I just don't understand that. And the shop was empty, so it's not like they were filled with customers and I was wasting their time. I go out the store and I'm clutching a piece of plastic that has been taken out of my phone by the guy. Like, he just popped open the tray and I was clutching a piece of plastic that came out of the tray, and then I popped the tray back in. The only thing I could think to do was go back to the first phone provider that I'd been into and the lovely girl who I'd got directions from. I went back to this original phone provider and the girl that I'd spoken to was nowhere to be seen. I think her shift must have finished at like 5:30 or so, and that's basically the time that I was getting there. It was like maybe like 20 to 6 by the time that I appeared there again. I spoke to somebody else and I basically told them that I was looking for a cheap handset that I could just quickly buy, and they were like, yes, we have one for £25. And at this point I just wanted a phone number. I didn't even care if it was my phone number. I just wanted a phone number so I could contact people. They basically had this system where it was kind of electronic. They took everybody's names, they took the reason as to why they were there, and they just asked everybody to wait in this area. I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm openly sobbing at this point because I'm so stressed, and I know that I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to miss my concert. One of the sales advisors finishes up with a customer and then he kind of calls to the next person, and this person was sitting on the sofa before me, so fair enough, they were next in line. Somebody comes in after me, another sales advisor finishes, and then they call their name, and then this kept happening, and I thought, well, maybe different sales advisors are doing different things. Maybe somebody's dealing with existing customers, maybe somebody's dealing with new sales, maybe somebody's dealing with just advice on which product to switch to and things. I didn't really know how the store was organised, so I didn't feel like I had the right to go, excuse me, I'm next in the line. I was sitting there for a total of 40 minutes and nobody asked me if I was being seen to, nobody asked what was happening, nobody asked if I was okay. I was openly sobbing on this sofa, and I don't know if they'd maybe decided they'd give me a little bit of space and come back to me later, but basically nobody said anything. At the 40-minute mark as waiting, the final sales advisor, who hadn't taken a new customer since I'd been sitting there, finished up what he was doing, and then he called for the next person, and he said something like Elaine, and I was like, could it be Kate? And he was like, no. And then he called another name and that person wasn't there, and then he called another name, that person wasn't there, and then finally he said something like Sarah, let's just call her Sarah. And Sarah got up and she'd been sitting on the sofa for like 2 minutes, and it was at that point I thought, if I sit here any longer I'm going to miss the show. I quickly got back to my hotel. I was trying to get ready and things, and I was so stressed. When I finally got to the show, I was really late. I'd missed the first support act entirely, and the second support act was singing her very last song. Between her very last song and Taylor Swift coming on, there was about 20 minutes. I had to find my seat. I had to find Liam because Liam wasn't sitting in the seat. I wanted to get some drinks because during the show I don't really want to move anywhere. I wanted to go to the loo, we wanted to get a photo, and at that point I was so stressed and things. But anyways, we did manage to get all of that done. I did manage to get to the concert to see Taylor Swift on time, and basically nothing else really happened with the phone for the rest of the day because at that point I pretty much decided it wasn't going to work. But on the way home, when we were going for the tube, I was really trying to stay close to Liam, and he wasn't allowed to go anywhere in front of me because I did not want to get separated from him. But we basically had an agreement that if for whatever reason we did get separated, we'd just go to the hotel. The next day rolls around and my phone obviously still isn't fixed because miracles don't happen overnight. But one of the things that did happen overnight is I woke up in the middle of the night and I remembered another way that I could possibly try and get around my problem of not having a code to validate myself on my Google account. So I quickly scribbled a note to myself in the middle of the night, and in the morning I started investigating that. And sure enough, I did manage to generate myself a code to validate myself as the owner of my phone. So I go to try and put it in, and now it's telling me to try and connect to a Wi-Fi network. I tried logging into our hotel Wi-Fi, but my mobile phone could only do like the name of the Wi-Fi network and a password. If it brought up a sign-in screen, it wasn't able to handle that. So basically I needed to find a Wi-Fi network in London that either just had the name and the password or didn't have a password at all. It was just an unprotected network in London. It's hard enough to find Wi-Fi in London, but I needed to find one that was almost impossible to find. A couple of hours go by and we get to King's Cross station because that's where we're going to get the train. And Liam goes into the Harry Potter store and I'm still kind of obsessing about my phone. We were in Harry Potter stuff yesterday. I don't really need to see more Harry Potter merchandise, so I just say to him, I'm going to go and sit outside. So I sit outside and I start searching what Wi-Fi networks are available in the train station. And I find a really, really obscure one that didn't have a password protected thing. So I connected to that one, and then it took me to the bit where it said sign into your Google account, and I was like, okay, finally. So I put in the details of my Google account, I put in my code, and I was back in my phone. As expected, it was factory reset. So all my regular settings had disappeared and I was trying to basically set up my phone again, sitting on the floor just by platform 9 3/4 in King's Cross station. I decided at this point that I should maybe try my idea of getting a new phone number again. So I went off in search of somewhere to buy a SIM card. And my initial idea was to go to another phone shop near King's Cross station because they'd have the little gadget to open up the inside of the phone. I went into WH Smith, I bought my SIM card, I was at the self-scan checkout about to pay, and then I turned to the girl and I was like, do you happen by any chance to have the little gadget that opens up the inside of your phone? And she was like, no, and I was like, thought so. And then she said, I'll check the office. So she went away. And I was thinking, I'm going to have to cancel this SIM card. I'm not going to be able to use it. It's not going to be any use to me if I can't get into my phone. But then she came back and she said, will a paperclip do? A paperclip, guys, a paperclip. Why didn't that occur to me on Saturday morning? The girl in WH Smith opens up my phone with this paperclip and we have a look in the tray, and as expected, my SIM card is missing because I'd taken it out the day before. So I go rooting in my purse, I take out the bit of plastic, and that's when I realise it's a memory card and not a SIM card. And actually looking at this tray, it holds both my memory card and my SIM card. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a tray for the SIM card, and I've been clutching onto one piece of plastic, walking down the road in Oxford Street, and I dropped my SIM card somewhere. I literally lost my SIM card on Oxford Street. Most people lose their phone and their SIM card on Oxford Street. It feels like a special skill to just lose the SIM cards. I buy my new SIM card, we load onto the train, and I spend quite a bit of my journey trying to get this SIM card to work. It was unexpected entertainment in this whole day. So we're going along, and the first thing it said was you just put in the SIM card and you're ready to go. And that wasn't the case. I had to register on the website. And until I registered, it wasn't going to give me a phone signal or something. But they texted the activation code to my phone, which made no sense. It made no sense at all that they would do that. Finally, I managed to check my emails. They'd also sent it there. And I got into this website. And I had a phone signal, I had a phone number, but I had no balance on my phone. So then I tried to top it up. And the payment system on this website wasn't working. I tried various payment cards, it kept coming back as down, it had crashed. The website wasn't working, the telephone numbers weren't working, and my only other option was to pay by PayPal. So I tried logging into my account, and then it says, you know, it's been a while, we haven't heard from you, so we're just going to send an activation code to your phone number. the phone number I dropped on Oxford Street. So it was a whole mess, and I ended up coming home with a phone number that I could receive texts and calls to, but I couldn't call out of or text anybody. So I was like to my family and things, you can text and phone me, I can't text and phone you because there's no way for me to top up this phone right now. Another thing I did manage to do on the train though was order myself a new SIM card to replace the one that I dropped on Oxford Street. So that one arrived a couple of days after this whole palaver. I think it was about Wednesday and this was Sunday when the whole thing was happening. So now I have my original number back. And I've still lost all my contacts. If any of my friends are watching this and you have my number but I don't have yours, please send me a text letting me know who you are. Please send me a message or anything like that. But yeah, that's the crazy story of what happened to my phone when I was in London. This story, if I'd been at home, would have been over within 5 minutes. Like, it would have been fixed and it would have been fine. But because I was away from home and because of all these little factors kind of adding up into one big thing, it just became a whole crazy thing that took half a week to figure out. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed that story. I do apologise if it's a little bit rambly. I've tried to film this in one take without any notes or anything. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I hope all the same you did enjoy this. If you did, please leave me any comments down below. Feel free to like. And I hope to see you back soon. Cheerio. That story was so exhausting to tell, and I'm losing my voice that I'm not even really going to do the end screen properly. There's various links around the screen. Feel free to check them out. Thanks so much, everyone. Cheerio.